It was 2 weeks ago today that this woman, Irina Zarutska, a Ukrainian refugee, was killed while riding the light rail in South Charlotte.
They don't want to show you how inhumane her murder was because she's white and her killer was black. That's it.
A white woman who's recently moved to this country by herself on public transit at night, sitting in front of a large, young, black male in her blind spot. That shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen, and we shouldn't be a culture that wants people to be so colorblind and risk blind that they don't take it into account immediately when they find themselves in that situation.
We have a race issue in America, and we need to come to terms with how many violent blacks are out there.
This is the internet right now, and this is our America. The stabbing of that woman on that North Carolina train was heartbreaking, and nobody deserves that. This incident was not about race, but it ignited a race war, and it is a lot deeper and scarier than what we are willing to admit. Let's talk about the train ride from hell and how it's taking America for a ride. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey guys, and welcome back. So today's topic's going to be a little different for us. And I think I'm going to start a new segment, a new series. I think I'm going to call it Chrissy Gets Deep. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's just to expand upon some of the hot button issues in our world and just peeling them back a little bit, peeling them back, giving you some details, and then ultimately my opinion where we can discuss about it. And that's what we're going to do today with the tragedy of the Ukrainian woman who was slain in cold blood on the subway or the transit in North Carolina. And I know what you're thinking. All right, before you say it, I'm going to say it. Chris, you going to talk about that white girl? And I said the same thing, am I really going to talk about this little white girl that got murdered? When black women get murdered all the time, I don't understand why everyone's melting down. But I am going to talk about it because it is relevant. And when I saw the discourse that's happening online, I need everybody to have their eyes and ears open around this. So on a fateful day in August of this year, a young woman, a Ukrainian refugee named Irina Zarutska, boarded a train in Charlottesville, North Carolina after her pizza shop shift. Her and like other passengers, headphones in the ear, waiting for the next stop, waiting to get home or to their destination. Little did they know that there was a maniac, psychopath, demon who had evil intentions that day and had the intentions on taking someone's life. Unfortunately, that life was of this young woman named Irina. As you can see from the chilling video, he took her life. It just literally before anyone could even blink. I mean, this happened so fast. You literally can see that she did not even grasp what happened to her. She's literally looking around like, what just happened? Completely terrified. I mean, when you look at her face, I don't know how you can look at it and not be absolutely heartbroken from it. Now, also in the video, you see the bystanders, the other passengers in that particular car of that train. They are literally like, oh my God, did we just watch a shanking? And this is actually really what has sparked the outrage. I don't even think it is the murder itself. It is the response to the murder or what the media is showing that has now incited just awful discourse online and on the internet, really aiding to this racial tension. And we know why it's racial tension because I have to be honest, we have a pretty young little white girl and this big black scary man do the unthinkable, and we know that's a no-no, okay? You can't kill the white girl. And listen, that is my sarcasm. I will get into it, okay? Now, people are making the argument that it's a racially motivated attack because the killer was witnessed murmuring, saying, I got that white girl. I got that white girl. Okay, that is what people on the train told authorities. So immediately people said this is an attack against her because she is white and the majority of the other people on that train or in that car were black. So he attacked her and stabbed her because she was white. And look, you can make that argument if that is what he was heard saying. I can see how you can conclude that, right? And then we have even more of a racial element because the conservative media is upset that this story did not hit national news. That it's taken almost a month for national news to pick it up. It really only made local news at first, and they feel like there's a media blackout because the perpetrator is a black man, and they feel that liberal news doesn't want to show a black person or a black man committing such a heinous crime because it may not fit their narrative. And I'm not here to debate that. I don't know why the news didn't pick this up. But I have my suspicions why, just because killings do happen every day and it doesn't always make national news. But, maybe they could be onto something. I'm not sure. And then lastly, we have accusations that the bystanders did not help this woman because they were black. For some reason, because they are black, I guess culturally or behaviorally, they feel that blacks are not capable of having empathy or helping in a situation like this. And I'm not saying all conservatives or conservative media thinks this way, but it's in the comments, all right? I'm literally just going through the comments. I just read the comments, okay? So with this horrific tragedy, the potential for it being racially motivated, media silence, and the cultural and behavioral analysis of the black community, we have a racial ticking time bomb, and it is detonating right before our eyes. And I'm telling you this because I don't think a lot of you are aware and prepared.
Hey, white America, I think you just found your George Floyd. You're 12 times more likely to be murdered by a black American than the other way around.
So Ruka's story is about the epidemic of black crime in America.
Highlighting black crime.
The other part of it is culture of violence amongst black people.
And there's one thing I don't want to leave out at all is that DeMarcus Brown Jr. was an absolute degenerate, and he comes from a family of criminal degenerates, okay? This dude was arrested like over 13 times. That's ridiculous, and I think it's safe to say he should have been off the streets, right? But what gets me is that you can hear the echo of black crime. We have an issue with black crime. What are we going to do about this black crime problem? And yes, we do have a black crime issue. Blacks do commit violent crimes at a higher rate, and I am not excusing that fact. We as a community have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of cultural change to do to correct that. However, I'm not going to sit up here and let them talk like we are animals and that it's just blacks that somehow inherently commit crime. That is a complete lie. Now, one thing that they like to do is use the statistics from the 2019 FBI crime report, where it's broken down by race, ethnicity, and this is where they are getting these numbers. And I'm not going to sit up here and say these numbers are wrong and that it's a lie. Do I think it's a little weird that it stops at 2019? Why didn't we report 2020, 2021, those years don't exist? But anywho, let's keep going. So they'll say, see, look at the blacks. They commit over 50% of the violent crime. Okay, well, see, look at the whites. It looks like 74% of them commit all of the sexual offenses. 81% are driving under the influence. Yes, y'all are drunks. 70% are responsible for the rape in America. Gross. You see how you can use these numbers and just throw them out without putting any context to it, or just saying, see, look, they're 13% of the population, but committing this percentage of the crime. Yeah, well, we can say the same thing for whites, actually, the only people we can't say the same thing for is the Asians, okay? They seem to be just, I don't know. They seem to be good people. So don't let these numbers fool you. And one thing they really, really love to leave out is that this statistic report are arrests. These are not convictions, they're arrests, okay? So I guess you can say, well, they were arrested for the crime. Yeah, it doesn't mean that I am guilty. So let's really have that in full context. Once again, I am not excusing the high crime rate amongst my own community, but I damn sure am not going to let you throw out numbers without throwing out some numbers for y'all too.
Did anyone come to her aid? There's more fallout today over the horrific murder of 23-year-old Irina Zarutska on a train. Fellow passengers don't seem to realize how badly hurt Irina is. Surveillance video shows her collapse to the floor. She's almost out of sight.
Okay, now on to the bystanders, the bystander backlash, and why everyone is in an uproar that these people, basically it looks like they just sat back, watched, and going, oh shit, okay, gotta go, bye. And I'm not even gonna lie, at first when I watched this, homegirl to the left or to the right of her, I mean, when she grabbed her bag and was like, ooh, I was like, girl, you're not going to even try to see if she's okay, or call for help or something. So when you look at the video, the one that's circulating on social media and the one that everyone is commenting on and getting an uproar, it looks that way. It looks like everyone's just like, ooh, glad that wasn't me, and refuse to help her. They're just so heartless that they won't even check on her and see if she's okay. And just so happens, all these people are black. So they're like, see, black people are heartless. Look at you people. You are soulless. And come on. How could you literally just say one race or group of people are completely heartless, that they don't know how to help or render aid to somebody? And this is where I pivot again. That sounds ridiculous. And if you feel that way or think that way, you just want to be truthfully a bigot. Because did you ever think that it's called self-preservation? Did you ever think that it's called the fight or flight response? And usually 99% of us in that situation probably would take the flight method. Not everybody is a hero, right? Not everybody's meant to be a hero. Not everybody has it in them to say, I gotta attack the attacker, especially when he is wielding a bloody knife. I don't want to hear that. It's always easy to say I would have done this and I would have done that. Your ass would have ran, okay? Your ass would have been like homegirl, clutching her purse, trying to figure out how to get off the train car. You can front and act like you wouldn't do it, but the odds are you would, because it's called self-preservation. It is a human natural instinct, and that is what you saw kick in with these bystanders. We can judge and say they could have done this and could have done that, but at the end of the day, these people in the back of their heads are trying to figure out how they're going to make it home to their families, and they left her in that train car because truthfully, and back in my mind, I probably would have done the same thing, because I would have been afraid that he would come back. If he already stabbed her, I would think, oh my God, she's going to come back and finish the job and I'm sitting right here. So I think that woman getting up, she was literally trying to position herself somewhere different in the train in case the attacker is going to come back. I think that's the case for a lot of these people in this situation.
Accused killer DeCarlos Brown can be seen stalking the rail car, mumbling to himself, his knife dripping with blood. He's bleeding from a cut hand. Horrified passengers try to get out of his way. When Brown gets off the train, other passengers can be seen running to help Irina. Takara Howard was sitting several seats away. Do you think people should have helped her?
I really do think people should have helped her. I think a lot of them didn't know what to do in that situation. I think a lot of them was shocked.
The shocking slaying has touched a nerve with male model John Rudat, who suffered a slashed face when he tried to help two women hassled on a train while on vacation in Germany.
If I would have been there, my first priority would have been her. She was obviously losing blood.
Do you think they were scared for their own lives?
I think they were scared for their own lives, and that's completely understandable.
And what the media won't show you is the full footage or the other camera shots in that train car is that he was walking around the train still. That train did not stop for quite some time. So you have to remember, these bystanders now were faced with the fact that there was a man, a crazy schizophrenic, who had just stabbed and murdered somebody, still on the train with a knife, they didn't know whether he was ready to do it again or not. So I feel like it was important to show you guys these clips and really show in full context, and because it's so easy, especially when you are scrolling and, you know, they show you this one heinous clip, you know, and it is, and it's to outrage you. It is intentional to outrage you. And even national news, now that they've picked it up, are showing that one clip, and they know what it's doing. They know it's inciting the radicals on that side already. And I'm not saying all conservatives are radicals. I don't believe that at all. I'm just saying there's radicals on both sides, and they're inciting them, and they're like, see, this white woman was killed in cold blood, and nobody, look at all those blacks that didn't do anything, but yet they're not showing the other clips. They're not showing you the full context and the full timeline. And without those things, like it just looks like these are just cold, heartless people. And it is just so important to really always seek the truth and seek everything in its entirety and not just look at a story, a headline, and scroll. Now guys, please, if you're getting any value from this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Please share this video to people if you feel like it needs to get to them or get out, whether it be sharing the story itself or even giving someone, a friend or whomever, a little bit more context if they need context around this story.
This is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a lot of attention.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. No one seems to care when a white woman gets stabbed to the death.
I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman.
The story is as much about race as the George Floyd story was and is. Race is center to this story.
I don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong.
George Floyd, the story, was about how police treated black Americans. The Irina Zaruka story is about the epidemic of black crime in America.
Now, you know I love a good psyop. And this right here, guys, when I say a psyop, this is what I mean. This incident is being politicized, it's being used to radicalize, and it's being used to divide. And we already live in a divided country, a divided nation. The polarization is, I thought the polarization had hit its peak in 2016. Then I thought it hit its peak in 2020. And then I thought it hit its peak in 2024. Now we're in 2025, almost going to 2026, and it's just going. It's just ramping up. And it's crazy because, you know, I call me conspiracy theorist, but I do believe in predictive programming. You know, they released a movie called Civil War the other year, you know, America going through a civil war. They don't explain why. It just shows a president going for a third term. You know, it's like, oh, okay. They really try to tell us. And at this point, they don't even hide stuff in plain sight anymore. They're literally telling us, they're showing you, this is what's going to happen. This is the plan. And I'm not just digging at conservative media, I'm digging at liberal media too, because you guys are both using this to fuel fear and division. The liberal media is using it as fear to say, see, they're trying to weaponize a black man. Look, they're always trying to bring a black man down. And then you have the conservative media saying, see, you know, oh, white lives matter. They were able to kill a white woman and no one cares. White women have to live like this. Like, oh my gosh, do you understand that this could happen to anybody? This could have been any woman. I really do believe that any woman that sat in front of him, they would have probably met the same fate. I mean, we can't be sure, but you can see that they're both trying to play both sides of the angle, and they're doing it really well because their bases are riled up. And let's just take a look at what happened recently. The assassination of Charlie Kirk. Whether you know who he is or not, whether you like him or not, I am not here to debate that. But that was a huge pivotal turning point for our country, whether you want to admit it or not. They are literally calling him a martyr. Though that's very charged language, okay? They're saying that he was a martyr for a Christian martyr, that he was an American martyr, a political martyr, that now it's time to fight back. We must fight back. This will not end. You don't know what you did. His wife, Erica Kirk, I know she's angry. Her husband was slain in front of her and her children, but she used some charged words with saying, hey, you don't know what you just started.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
What you mean, Erica? Girl, start what? So I say all that to say, like, if you don't have your eyes open, open them. The political tension is rising, okay? America is on edge. We are at a tipping point that is a boiling point, and the water is just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I really do believe it probably will just take one more incident. And this is a psyop, and I don't know whether it's coming from our own government or an outside government. You know, this actually seems to be, now I think about it, actually kind of seems to be an outside opponent trying to divide us and conquer us from within, because they know one more incident like this, it's going to set it off. It's going to set it off. Best believe the next incident is going to be a murder of a black person, right? An unjustified murder of a black person that's going to get that base riled up again, take to the streets. And then we need one more of an unjustified murder of a white person, and boom, it's over. We're at a full-on civil war. So my final thought, especially for us ladies, especially for black women, we need to protect ourselves, okay? Protect ourselves physically, all right? Don't sit, maybe you shouldn't sit next to men on a train, you know? Really always look at your surroundings. Don't trust that this is just another train ride, or have, you know, carry a little pocket knife or carry some mace. Always look over your shoulder, learn some, you know, kung fu or something. In this case, that wouldn't work for Ernia, unfortunately. This is a reminder that we as women need to physically learn how to protect ourselves, right? You know, carry a gat if you need to. I don't know, whatever you need to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. Dig deep, research. Don't just look at a headline. Just don't take something for face value. If you're hearing a story or an opinion from someone and they can't give hard, cold examples, you need to go look it up yourself, okay? Be educated out here on what's really going on, and always look at both sides. Always look at both sides, because don't always think that one side is right and the other is wrong. That is not the case. They're usually both playing the same game. And that game is to divide you, to radicalize you, and to put you in a movement that will ultimately end up hurting you and all of us. So please, stay aware, stay alert, and stay out of traps. And the tragedy of Ernia is an example of this. And may she rest in peace. And I do pray for the comfort and closure of her family. So guys, please let me know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know this was a long one, but hey, we had to get through it. We got to go through it. Remember, this is Going Deeper with Chrissy, okay? So give me your deep thoughts. You know, is this a psyop? You know, the racial war? Do you believe that, you know, all those people are just black scum that just let her, you know, perish on her own? Or are you seeing how this story, this tragic story, is just being completely politicized, unnecessarily politicized? And if you haven't watched a couple of my last videos, they're coming up right now.